Grace and peace, everybody. Once again, welcome back to our Tuesday night ignite. I see you. I see you, Maurice. Grace and peace, man. I pray you had an amazing day today. Thank you so much for being you. You're the first person on tonight, so I appreciate your punctuality. You all, I want to thank you all so much for rocking with us on Tuesday nights for our Tuesday night ignites. This month, for the month of October, we have given specific attention to certain things that impact and affect our community. And yes, sir, impact and affect our community. Overseer, God bless you, Billy. I pray you had a good day, man. Stick around. Um, and we started off with an amazing conversation in regards to life insurance. And unfortunately, there was a lot of technical difficulties on my end. So these amazing people have given their consent, made themselves available once again, so that they can share some pertinent, powerful, and life-changing information with our local church. Praise the Lord, Minister Copeland. I pray you're doing well. I love and miss you all out there in Alabama. Um, I just spoke to Apostle today, but I want you all to kind of stick around as we have a conversation about this matter about life insurance, and the necessity of it and the benefits of it, and other avenues of money making, for your personal home and your future. Okay, so saints, if you go ahead, like and share, you know how that's how we do. Like and share. Our members, if you don't see the Saints on, go ahead and tag them in the comment section, because I want to make sure that we at least have the attention of our local congregation. And I believe that this will be a tremendous impact. Praise the Lord, everybody. So tonight we have again two amazing people. I'll allow to formally introduce themselves. I'll introduce this young lady, and she can introduce Coach. I'll do it that way because she knows Coach, and I call him Coach because that's what we call him. But he's an amazing man. But tonight, my insurance lady, Miss Siobhan Jenkins, she's not only an educator in the schools, but she's an educator in our community while she teaches our public school system. She has devoted herself and her time, her intelligence, and her commitment to empowering us with the information about life insurance and other means to obtain wealth, as and other means of economic gains. And Siobhan's an amazing and trustworthy young lady. So you all, as we go through the discourse of this conversation, if you do have questions, please pop them up. I'll make sure that I share them with them. If you need her information after this, we'll make it available, her email, or if you need her phone number as well, just reach out to me and I'll give that to you, because this is social media, so I don't want to put it out on the World Wide Web. But if you need to get in contact with her outside of her email address, then you let me know, and I know she trusts me to give her phone number to the right people. All right. So, but nonetheless, I want to thank, and I'll bring Siobhan on, and then she can introduce Coach after that. Let's see here. I think we are all in here. See, this is how it's supposed to work. Last time you all we had, I mean, it was awful. It was all my fault. It was not her fault. It was not his fault. It was just technical difficulties on my end, and they have consented to kind of give me a redo so we can kind of get this information out there to our church and those that might be watching. All right. So Siobhan Jenkins, thank you so much for being on. You can share a little bit about yourself, and then do me a favor and introduce Coach, if you will.
Good evening, everyone. I am Siobhan Jenkins. Pastor Talbert, thank you so much for having me on again. Last time it was not your fault. It was not your fault, guys, but I am so super excited about having the opportunity to share the information with you all again. I know somewhere someone probably missed something and wanted to hear it again. So it wasn't a mistake. It happened for a reason. All right. I've known Pastor Talbot for a very long time. We went to college together, sung on the choir together. And so he has been a very great friend. I'm super excited about his church and what he's doing in ministry. And I'm just here to share the information that I know. I'm an educator by nature. And so not just in the classroom, but in the communities, And I'm here to educate and give you information that can help you with the tools in your tool belt so that you can make some educated decision about what you need to do for you and your family and how you can move forward and make some really good steps forward. I'm not by myself. I am here with a wonderful, amazing guy by the name of Ezel Parker II, who has helped me in being the best that I can. And he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself because I'm probably going to do it no justice. Ezel, talk about yourself. Say
Hey,
hey.
thank you so much, Siobhan, and thank you so much, Pastor Tobin, for allowing us to come back. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. You know, we are really on a mission for economic empowerment and financial literacy. And so we look at this as a financial ministry to teach people the basic principles of how to build wealth. You know, there's a major epidemic going on now when it comes to the lack of knowledge and resources in our communities. And so we do a great job breaking this down. I've been doing this now for over 20 years. And what I've noticed and seen is that there are a lot of people that, unfortunately, when they try to retire, Pastor, they have to go back to work because they haven't accumulated enough money because they don't understand the rules of the game. And then there's a lot of people that pass away and leave debt and disparity versus an inheritance for their children's children, like the good book says. So we're going to
Like the
break these
good book
principles
said.
down. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We're going to break these things down to really make sure that everybody understands how this works. So I have an office in Columbia, you know, I'm in 8 states right now with representatives teaching this information. So I'll turn it back over to you, Siobhan. We can go ahead and get started because we don't want to hold y'all long, but get your pad and your pens because we're going to give you some powerful information about building.
All right, Pastor Tolbert, you got that slide for me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, friends. So tonight we're going to talk about some financial literacy. You're going to find out that maybe you can fit in this spot, or maybe you find someone else that might need to know this information. Please, I know on this platform you can share. So if you want to share, make sure that your person needs can see it. Go ahead to the next one.
And just to
Okay.
let you know, Starlet Jean has shared and she's watching. So
That's Starlet. Hey, Starlet. All right, guys. So basically, in finances, there's 4 ways to earn income. The first way is to become an employee, which is a person who works at a job. The second way is to become a self-employed person, which is one person who works for themselves. You may be I have an uncle who has a concrete place, so he works for himself by himself. But then that's the only thing that he can do is be working for himself. If he needs time off or if he has an emergency, he doesn't have a lot of playroom to do that because when he's doing it, he's not making extra money. So we can talk about another way to earn income, and that is to become a business owner. And so let's just say that one person that has that job decides to open up a business and get some like-minded friends to work along with them. And therefore, now you have people working with you. So if you have an emergency, if you have to leave, your business doesn't have to shut down. Your business is still open. Okay. I like to use a hairdresser for an example. Let's say the hair shop business owner has to go take care of something, maybe with a family member. The shop is still open. There are people still getting their hair done. There's still people getting their hair dyed, curled, and fried. Everything's still happening because the business is still open. With a business, you still can make passive income. Okay. Self-employed, you don't have passive income. Business owner, you have passive income. You don't actually have to be there to make income to come in for your family. Okay. So let's say as a business owner, you've got extra income and you want to become an investor. And as an investor, guys, you're just putting money aside in an account where it can accumulate over time. So one day when you decide, hey, I want to retire or I want to send my business over to my family, you've got money stashed away do whatever you would like to do. Maybe you want to go to Fiji. Maybe you want to take a trip to wherever you want to go, or do whatever you like to do with your money and your investment. So, just in a nutshell, guys, these are 4 ways that you can earn income. Most people fall in as an employee. Okay, as Pastor Talbert was saying, I am an employee. I work for the school system. So again, I filled out an application. I did what I had to do. I come when I'm supposed to come. I leave when I'm supposed to leave. But I don't have a lot of say in what on how I can make more money in that position. On the right hand side, you have more opportunities to make more money to fulfill the dreams and goals that you have for yourself. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk more about how you can make that happen for yourself, and you're going to see some other things that will take place in the future slides. Next slide for me, Barry. All right, guys. So let's go. Let's make this plain. I work for a company that's called Primerica. And Barry, you can switch to the next slide. I work for a company that's called Primerica. We've been in business since 1977. And what we do, guys, is we help families earn extra income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. And what happens is Primerica is there to help middle-income families do what that 1% to 2% is doing, which is making all the money in the world. And then, basically have the same the words are leaving me, have the same opportunities as everyone else. Okay. You've got the 1% to 2% that's at the top that's making a whole lot. And then you've got low income families that's getting assistance from the government. But middle income families sometimes fall through the loop, fall through the hole because they don't fit in either one of those brackets. So Primerica is there to help families basically have the same financial abilities that everyone else around them is having. Okay, so Barry, if you click it again, I'm not sure if I see everything on that screen. Here are all the, go back, Barry. Here are all the partners that we work with. Okay, so everything that you see on the right hand of the screen are all the businesses that we partner with. Okay, that helps to build your wealth. So we're talking about investments, we're talking about annuities. Okay. Everything on the left-hand side helps to protect what you currently have. Something that we're known for is our life insurance, protecting your life, protecting your home with home security, protecting your identity with identity theft. We also have legal protection. So at the end of the day, Primerica is basically a Walmart, and it has everything that you need right there in this one spot. Okay, everything that you need at Walmart, guys. You can get groceries, you can get your hair done. I actually saw a Claire's at a Walmart. You can get your tires rotated and everything. So Primerica has everything that you need, one-stop shop where you can get everything that you need for your family financially. Because at the end of the day, you're going to make sure that you got everything lined up and set for the next generation to come. I'm a big believer in having something set up for the next generation, because we don't want the next generation to start at a lower point than where we started. We always want to make sure that the next generation is set up to move forward. Okay. One thing about this company that I love, guys, is that it's easy to work with. As a person working for the company, all I do is I fill out applications on behalf of the clients, and basically the company pays me, and that's how I get paid. I love this company because, again, everything that we offer is something of substance. It's not makeup, it's not teas, it's not a wrap, but it's something that we use to make sure that your family is financially stable. Okay. The next thing, guys, that we're going to talk about, and if I'm talking really fast, Barry, say just slow down just a little bit. I'm talking too fast. All right. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is how money works. And guys, I am an educator, so I love pictures and I love colors. I used to teach, I now teach first grade, but I taught kindergarten for a very long time. And so on this screen, you're going to notice that there are 3 different colors, and those 3 different colors are very important. But before I talk about the colors, I want to talk about the rule of 72. And the rule of 72 is basically a banker's rule, letting you know how long it's going to take for your money to double based on the account that you have it in. And because I'm talking to Pastor Barry's, Pastor Tolbert's family and friends, I know that everyone here most likely has a savings account. And if you were like me, you were taught to put your money in the savings account, keep it there, have 1 account, have 2 accounts, have 3 savings accounts. Okay. But what I didn't know, and what I wish I would have known, or wish someone had taught me in school, is that savings accounts really don't have a very high interest rate, return of interest, right? They're very low. Most of them are at 0.2, 0.2, or 0.1 or 0.2. They're very, very low. So we're putting our money in a place where it's not doubling, it's not growing for us. It's basically just sitting there. Okay. So in an average savings account with the interest rate is about 1%, if it's going to take our money 72 years to double. Okay, so if we had $1 in that savings account, and I'm talking about the yellow bar, the bar at the top, if you had $1, you put it in that account, it'll take it 72 years before that $1 turned into two. And that's your savings account. Imagine if you only had a savings account, how long would it take for your money to double? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is that green bar, and that's where the average interest rate is 6%. And it's taking your money 12 years to double in that. That account is your retirement account. Most times these accounts come with full-time positions, and it's just added on. You have it. So if you have that, that's great. That's amazing. Keep it because it came with your job. Okay. But here's another account that I want to talk about where the average interest rate is 12% over a 20-year period. And this is your global economy account. Okay. This is your investment account where your money can be doubling every 6 years. Okay. So here's what I didn't know. I didn't know that I could get this account with Primerica for as low as $25 a month. Okay. And the reason why I stress that is because other financial institutions say you have to have a lump sum of money to open up an investment account. I'm talking about the account that's at the bottom in the blue, where your money is doubling every 6 years. Okay. You have to have a lump sum, 10,000, 15,000. Well, most middle income families don't have 10 to 15,000 laying around to put in an investment account. Okay. So Primerica, again, is looking out for middle income families. And Primerica says if you have at least $25 a month to open up an investment account, a global economy account, you have the same opportunities as others to get your money growing for you. Okay. And so when I think about this account, I think about what in the next 6 years, how that money can double. If I've got children, how that money can double for them by the time they become adults. Okay. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to check yourself and say, is this something that I've got in place? Or is this something that I need to put in place? If you've got children, is this going to help my child in the future? Again, we always want to make sure that the next generation has something to go on and we're not leaving them in the worst situation. Okay. So let's go ahead to the next slide, Barry. And the next slide is basically just going to put some numbers to it, really. And so we want to kind of give it a little bit of life. So maybe it can make a little bit more sense. Okay. All right. So Barry, that's not the right slide. Go back to the slide. Go back.
I went too far. My apology.
You went away.
I'm sorry, Ms. Jenkins.
Go back. Go back. Go back. And if go back.
What?
Yeah, Barry. Right there. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the power of compound interest. And basically, let's say if you were saving $50 a month for 35 years, starting at age 30, ending at 65, that's going to put you at about retirement. And we're going to talk about these same groups again. The first group is your savings account. And let's just pretend that's the only thing that you had. If you're putting away $50 a month in that regular savings account, you're going to have about $25,000. Okay. I don't know how comfortable you're going to feel with having just $25,000 at retirement. Okay. The next one, where is your retirement account? You'll have about $72,000. Okay. Maybe you might feel comfortable, but I don't know how long you would feel comfortable with just having that at retirement. But let's say if you were able to put something into that global economy account, now you've got $250,000 there, right? So just looking at that, guys, the numbers is telling the truth for you. Do you have something in place where your money can double every 6 years? Do you have something in place that's working for you and not against you? Do you have something in place to leave for the next generation? Do you have something in place to make sure that you're financially comfortable, to make sure that you have what you need in case you need it? Okay.
Right.
So just make sure that you're taking this moment. Don't let it pass you by. Think about, do I have this in place? how can this help me in the future? A lot of, I don't know what I am, a millennial, Generation X, I'm somewhere in the middle. But we think about the present and we think about just now. We think about just today. I want you to take a moment and I want you to think 35 years from now, 40 years from now, where are you going to be? Are you still going to, do you still plan to be working? Do you still plan to be on a job? Do you want to do that? This is the time now to set yourself up so that later on down the line, you can have what you like. I think that's a song. You can have whatever you like. And you really can. You really can. So take the moment, take the information in, put this tool in your tool belt, okay, so that you can build a house that you want. All right, so next, guys, I'm going to turn it over to this fabulous guy who's filled with information, great wealth of information, Ezel Parker, and he's going to talk to you about the next major concept.
Great job, Siobhan. Great job. You know, the rule of 72 is super important, but there is one minor setback about this, Pastor. You got to live for the money to grow. So the part that I'm going to talk about is if you should pass away prematurely, you want to make sure that your family can still reach the goals that Siobhan talked about as far as building wealth. And so that's dealing with something called income protection. A lot of people know there's life insurance, but we believe that people need to protect their income. Now, a lot of people have life insurance on their jobs, but one of the things that we talk about with the job life insurance is that, you know, you don't control it. At the end of the day, the job controls it. So it controls exactly what they offer you, how much coverage, how much you pay. And normally if you leave the job, you got to leave the benefits, or if you can take them because they're portable, now the rate can go up because you're no longer part of the group. So we want to make sure that something that's very important as it relates to life insurance is in control of your hands. So we want to make sure people have coverage, Pastor, away from their job where they can control and dictate it. So now nobody can be able to determine what's going to happen to the family. And so there are two types that you can go with once you realize you want to have coverage away from your job. And so we can go to the next screen real quick, because the first type is called whole life insurance, which is a bundle where you're paying for two components. You pay for the life insurance coverage and you pay for a savings that's attached to it. On the left-hand side, you see it's called cash value whole life, different names for them. And so when you look at that scenario, John and Mary have $75,000 of coverage each. They're paying $130 a month for it. And they're paying so much because there's a savings attached called cash value. So really, on an average, about half of the money pays for the insurance. The other half goes inside the policy to build the savings. So that's about $65 going each way. The other type of insurance is called term insurance, which stands for periods of years. There's no savings, so you can get more coverage for less money. But we're going to break that down in a second. Let's go back to the whole life. So let's say John and Mary were paying $130 a month for 10 years. And let's say they built up $5,000 inside the savings where the question mark is at, and John dies. Mary gets a check for $75,000 because that's the coverage on his life. But the $5,000 of savings that he built up, a lot of term whole life policies keep your savings. So when they cut the check, they only send Mary a check for $75,000. The $5,000 the company keeps. Now that's not fair, but it's written inside the policy, so that's what makes it legal. It says upon death we will pay off the face amount. It doesn't say we pay off the face amount plus the cash value. So Pastor, think about all the people over the last 50, 60 years that left all that savings inside of the whole life policies. Because, you know, Big Mama had it, Auntie had it, Papa had it, and now when we got of age, they got it for us. And so it's a traditional curse, I like to call it, because a lot of people just don't know. So that's the first challenge of cash value life insurance. When you die, you lose your savings. Secondly is this: if John found that out, he's going to want to take his savings out before he died, so he can write the company and say, send me my $5,000 out before I pass away. By law, if he requests it, they got to send it to him. But as soon as he gets all of his savings out, now the company cancels his life insurance policy. That's called cashing in your life insurance policy. Some of y'all may have heard of that before. So that's the second challenge. So now when he dies, family gets nothing. Then they have to borrow money for the funeral, go to the church to ask for some donations, go on Facebook to post GoFundMes, and a lot of different things a lot of people just didn't know, because most people don't read the policies with understanding. So as a recap, number one, if I die, I lose my savings. Number two, if I get all my savings, I lose my coverage. So John says, well, I don't want to do those things, but I do want to get the best of both worlds. So let me take a portion of the savings out, not all of the savings, just a portion. So now out of the 5,000, let's say he took 4,000 of the savings out, leaving 1,000 in. So now the policy can still stay active. that's legal. The company will allow him to do that. But the first thing they're going to do is lower his face amount by whatever he took out, because they treat that withdrawal as a policy loan, which means you borrow the money from the insurance company and you have to pay it back to them with interest. Wait a minute, Pastor. Whose money is that? That's their money. So why do I have to borrow my own money and pay it back with interest? So what happens is most people never pay that money back. So the company now has the right to use the interest that you're supposed to be paying them to eat down whatever you left inside the savings. Remember, I just gave y'all a scenario of he had 5,000 in, he took 4,000 out, he left 1,000 in. So the interest is going to start eating that 1,000 down to zero. Once that cash value goes to zero, now your policy is canceled. So the three evils of whole life insurance is if you die, you lose your savings. If you get all your savings, you lose your coverage. And if you get some of your money, you have to borrow and pay it back with interest. If you don't pay it back, it cancels the coverage. But they charge you for both, but you're only able to get just one. So what's the alternative? We teach a concept called buy term and invest the difference. Let's give people as much coverage as possible, enough coverage to potentially pay off the mortgage, send the kids to college, replace your monthly income, but don't pay a bunch of money for it because term has no savings. So we met with John and Mary, let's say he was in their 30s, and we showed them how to get $250,000 of coverage each for $80 for a 35-year period, lock them in. So now that means for the next 35 years, they pay the life insurance company $80. They were already paying $130 with the whole life. So the difference is a $50 difference. We're going to show them, Pastor, how to take the $50 and start a mutual fund, which was Siobhan just talked about, separate from the life insurance. So now they're paying $80 to an insurance company to cover them if they died now. They're putting $50 away to cover them if they live later. So they get the best of both worlds. If they live long, they've accumulated some money. As y'all see in 35 years, when they get into their 70s, if they were 35 years old, they get over $278,000 saved. That's huge. And that's not including their 401k or anything else they've been doing. So now if they die suddenly, their family gets to $250,000. But look at this. Fast forward in 35 years, and their 5-year-old is now 40. Their 30-year mortgage is now paid. Their debt and responsibilities have gone down, Pastor, and their money has gone up. Now when it's time to come back to the table, because the term doesn't end, you just come back to the table and readjust what you feel you need. They wouldn't need a $250,000 life insurance policy in that situation because of those variables. So they can lower the coverage down to 150, 100,000, 75,000, 50,000, or, Pastor, get to a point where they say, you know what, I have enough money to take care of my responsibilities. If I passed away, we can leave real inheritance. My family can split the 275 and another 100, 200 through the 401k, anything else I got, and take care of any responsibilities I have. Now they can officially change their last name to Winfrey, because y'all know people like Oprah and Jay-Z and LeBron James. They're not spending money for life insurance the way that we are because they have the actual cash. The benefit of setting it up the way that's on the right-hand side is if you died along the way, your family gets both, a check from the insurance company and whatever's inside of the mutual fund. If they went inside of the mutual fund and took money out, Pastor, they don't have to borrow the money. They just withdraw it out. One doesn't affect the other, but you're using both for your overall wealth building game plan. So we teach people how to buy term and invest the difference, pay for two and get two, versus the cash value whole life traditional choice, paying for two and getting one. And that's what we do, and we want to get this information out. So if you're on here and want more details about life insurance away from the job, you may not have any at all, you may have the wrong type, or you don't have the investments where you can do for as little as $25 a month, please get with Siobhan so she can now set up a one-on-one with you to talk about your personal deals. We have personal game plans that meet everybody's budgets to be able to help them get this information so they can make a better informed decision. And so that's what my time is up. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Pastor, and Siobhan. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Real quick, and Siobhan, I'll let you have the last words before we leave. I think one of the biggest things is people having the conversation of that age-old debate between whole life and term life. And I don't think anyone has ever taken the time to explain it that way. And so I appreciate you for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And maybe, hey, first of all, everyone's telling Siobhan hello. So there was a question that popped up real quick, and I'm trying to bring it. Is it 12% on the 50 months investment? If you all see that question up on the screen, I think that one of you all can better answer that question.
Yeah, I can. So the 12%, it's an average, and so when we sit down with you, regardless of what you're investing, mutual funds over a 20-year period average 12% return. If you go back and look at historical data, you have some mutual funds that's paying more than that. But what we do is a basic average to kind of explain that process. When we sit down and set up your portfolio with what you want your money to do and your investment profile, we'll kind of break that down and show you exactly how that works. But yeah, so you look at that process that way.
Okay. All right. First of all, so let me say thank you again so much, VP and Siobhan, so much for your time. And you all, we can wrap this up because I think I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any questions here. If you all have any questions real quick before we go, if you pop them up real quick, I'll ask them. But I told them 30 minutes, so I'm going to definitely keep my word. But that's the only question I did. Go ahead.
Pastor Barry, again, if anyone needs to reach out to me via email, it is ShavornJenkins@yahoo.com. That's SHAV as in Victor, ORN Jenkins@yahoo.com.
And this will be the last question, and I'll let you all go. Okay. What type of premium forgiveness or gap in coverage is offered if, for example, an older person has a hard time paying their monthly premiums? And Siobhan, I think, because I know Coach had to leave at 8, so I'll leave that one on you. Can you see the question?
I do see that. So what happens is we can exactly see what's going on. It's a case by case basis. So it just depends on what the actual situation is.
Okay.
That makes sense.
It does. It does.
I think I answered that question properly.
Well,
because if there's a gap in the, read the question again to me, Barry. It's gone. Read the question again.
Okay, I'll bring it back up.
Okay, so there are a couple things that might be offered. Okay, so I did. It just depends on what the situation is. There's something that we have where if the client becomes terminally ill, and then they need to, use part of their insurance to cover those things, then that happens. But again, client has to become terminally ill, things like that. So there are some different things in there. If there is a gap or something happens, and we just, we reinstate as soon as possible. And again, just one-on-one with your representative, just to kind of catch it so that some of those things don't happen. Just being on top of it.
Awesome. And Siobhan, what's your Siobhan?
Siobhan Jenkins, SHAV as in Victor, ORN Jenkins, JENKINS @yahoo.com. Yes. Hey guys, just let Pastor Talbert know. He will give you the information if you want to contact me directly. That way we can have a little bit more in-depth conversation about what you're looking for and how I might be able to assist you. Again, guys, I am out here educating everybody that I can. I'm an educator at heart. That's what I do. And again, I am not trying to keep any information for myself. Each one teach one. That's what we do. And I enjoy helping the community.
So I just shared her email address I just shared it on YouTube and Facebook, Siobhan, so don't be mad at me. But nonetheless, I want to thank you again so much for your time tonight. Greater Church Columbia, if you all, thank you so much for receiving them and giving your attention to this, because it's very important to me that we give attention to every aspect of your life, from how you live and how you die. Praise the Lord. And I want to make sure that we are prepared, and I want to make sure that you know that we have your life and your future in our purview. All right. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you so much for that question, Vicky. If you need to reach out to her, then by all means, that's her email address,
Yes.
as well as you, Billy. All right. I'm going back over the comments because I was looking at people saying, "Hey, Siobhan, cool, good information. Definitely interested." So I have your information up there. So you all please just make sure you email her and or inbox me, and I'll give you her number. And just I'll let her know that you're going to be calling before I give you her number. But I will do it. All right. Thank you
Have to do
all
that two-step
so
process.
much. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you, Coach,
Thank you.
for your time tonight. A great Church Columbia, as always. Thank you so much for being a part of Tuesday Night Ignite. You all, listen, this is my personal invitation. If those that might be watching that are not members of our local church, you have my personal invitation to join us every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. here at 1329 McNaughton Drive, Suite D. D is in Delta. Okay. So you all, thank you so much. I pray that you have an amazing rest of your week. Pray for us as we serve. We're going to be serving a couple places this week. So pray for us as we go into convocation with Bishop Kevin Austin. Bishop Marshall will be with us on Friday evening. We'll be with them on Friday evening, excuse me, and we'll definitely be there. So I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in worship sometime this week. But I say unto one, I say unto all, watch as well as pray. Go in peace and sin no more. God bless you, and I love you.